Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to a post-game match reaction, instant reaction, outside Portman Road, following what was a hammering. Same division, worlds apart. Matt, what are your thoughts following Man City 6?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're 3-0 down at half-time, what's it matter, 4, 5 or 6, you know what I mean? All that takes a bit of a beating is our pride and our goal difference, really. But as we were just saying, you know, in the cold light of day, we was in League One when they was winning the Champions League. That wasn't that long ago, was it? I mean, as you always say, Martin, you're not going to stay up by playing Manchester City.
No.
It's the games around us, and we've said before, haven't we? We're in the League of 5, of which now Everton lead it with Wolves, Leicester, and Southampton, and that's where we've got to. That's where we've got to perform.
What do you say to Andy at home? It says McKenna and the team are quite simply out of their depth. We just have to hope Wolves and Everton stay just as bad.
Yeah, well, most people are out of their depth when you're coming up against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, 4 Premier League titles on the trot. Most people are out of their depth, and you know, no one wanted to come here today and see us get down 6. What I will say, the positive, Martin, for me, is the first 25 minutes was far better than the 90 minutes we saw against Brighton on Thursday, which wasn't that long ago, 72 hours ago.
Say that again.
I thought the first 25 minutes that we played today was far better than the 90 minutes we saw against Brighton.
It was, but the rest of it was absolutely, you know.
I mean, look, we'll have to go back and have a look at some of the goals and some of the defending. I mean,
I think Wolves should do better for a couple of. I'm not seeing them back, obviously, but I think Wolves should do better for a couple of them.
What's it matter? Do you know, like I say,
well, it does matter a lot, Matt. You know, we haven't question marks out on the goalkeeper. It's leading into the game. Would he start?
Well, the rumour was Muric might start the game, which I didn't really see the point of that particularly. I mean, he's not even played for a month. He still leads the Premier League's post errors for goals table. So, you know, but I mean, look, whoever's in goal today will be Muric or Walton. Once you've conceded 6, you're on for a beating, isn't you? So, I mean, makes the difference, really. Makes the difference. A keeper's only really, taking individual errors out of the way, a keeper's only ever as good as his defence anyway. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered who was in goal today, I don't think. True. Do you know what I mean?
All right. Matt, any other thoughts before I bring in Colin?
Big shout out to everyone who stayed in the stadium. It disappoints me that people leave early. You're watching one of the great club sides of the last decade at Portman Road, and you've watched and sat there and watched us play Morecambe and Forest Green, and for some reason people think it's good to go after 70 minutes. I mean, to get locked in for the 90 and, you know, just take your, you know, to be objective about it. You've lost the game at half-time anyway. Sit there and well, I don't say enjoy it, but you were there for 90 minutes against one of the great club sides, one of the greatest managers that's ever lived in Pep Guardiola, but people seem to think, oh, I'm going to go. But, you know, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but when you do back-to-back, you know, I mean, have a bit of pride in yourself to sit there and take a defeat like that against one of the world's great clubs.
All right.
I mean,
I've got more to say, but I'll say it tomorrow. Join us tomorrow live 8 p.m. But Matt, for now, go and enjoy the pub.
Yeah, we're going down the pub. I'll see you later. See you tomorrow. Yeah.
Colin, I'll bring you in. Colin, what are your thoughts?
Colin Plum, everybody. Colin Plum.
6-0 hammering at the hands of Man City. What are your thoughts?
Hello. Well, I thought we started decent, if I'm being honest. But it was, look, I've got to say, I hate to say it, but it was men against boys today. It really was.
Very much so.
You know, and I fear really, in some aspects, what I'm watching. You know, I think some players. I've got to say this. I think some players' heads drop. I think there's a certain amount of players. I'm not saying many. There's 1 or 2 who that really does.
I said that to you off air, didn't I, before we went live?
I hate saying it actually, but there are 1 or 2. I mean, look, I'm not ever going to say that. Like, for example, some of our players that we brought in haven't got ability. They have got. I'm not going to mention those, so I don't want to do that. But I think we know who we're talking about. Some of the players we brought in, technically, especially in the Championship, I've got to say that, are excellent.
Yeah.
So I've not mentioned any names, but I mean,
and they're certainly short of confidence as well, aren't they?
They're short of confidence. They're short of confidence, and are they? To be honest with you, I think honestly, Martin, I think Kieran could have done 1 or 2 players a favour today and took them off at half time, because I think by leaving them on 1 or 2 players, I think
You leave them
that
exposed.
did them no good whatsoever. In fact, it harmed them even more for me. You know, by the time they went off, I think they were harmed even more.
Yeah, you're not, and I know you're not the sort of person to say names, but those at home, those watching on catch up, they'll probably know the names you're talking about there. But I know you're not the sort of fella to say those names. But you're possibly right. You know,
to be honest with you, Martin, I've got to say this. I did it once about a certain player. We all know that was, and I am not going down that road anymore.
Enough. And I think
I even went out in public. Personally, apologised to that guy.
And I think people at home, will perhaps agree that one or two players were left exposed, and in terms of what you're saying, and agree with you there. But there's a comment in the chat here in terms of 2-0 down, no fight, and I said to you off air, that was one of the things that really concerned me. And Kieran himself referenced that after the Brighton first goal, about the belief left us, and I felt that, or saw it today, where 2-0 down, the belief seemed to leave the team, and that's a worry, right? Because it doesn't matter who you're playing, the fight and the belief. If that's always there, you've always got yourself a chance. And if that's there from Brighton, if that's there now, moving forward, it leaves us vulnerable. It's really hard to get back, isn't it, Boo?
Yeah. I mean, I know. Look, I know we're at Liverpool next week. Do I expect to get anything next week? Probably not.
Liverpool
but it is an opportunity. I know I'm clutching at straws here, Martin, but it is an opportunity. To write a few.
To what?
To write a few wrongs. Well, possibly, but let's hope not. I mean, after we've got next week over and done with, you've got to remember Liverpool got a Champions League game on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we all know about Liverpool in the European Cup. I mean, that is one of their holy grails. And they will be putting a lot of effort into that. There will be no shadow of a doubt. They are at home, mind, so they've not got to travel. But, I'm clutching at straws here.
A little bit.
But
that's what you've got to do as a football fan, right? You've got to look ahead, clutch at any straws you can get hold of and go again.
But can I say something, Martin? I'll tell you what. I thought of this today. I remember back in the First Division days when we was like an almighty force in the First Division. I remember one year, I think for 1 year only, Notts County, not in the Forest, Notts County got promoted. And we went up to Meadow Lane. I went with my mate Steve, who I write about in the book.
Yep.
And we won, I think it was either 6-0 or 6-1, I can't remember. I think Alan Brazil got a couple, I think Paul got a couple. Anyway, we won 6-1 at Meadow Lane, and that was it. That reminded me so much of that game that day. It was like men against boys. Yep. We literally more or less did whatever we wanted to do that day at Meadow Lane. So don't think everybody this is a one-off. It's happened here before. Remember when we lost to Liverpool?
Yep. Yeah.
What was that? 5-0, I think. 6-0.
Do you mean on the Burnley?
Yeah.
6-0.
Yeah, same again, you see. So, but that side are remarkable. I don't care anybody say. I know a lot of them are aging, but that's a remarkable side.
Some quality players. You were treated
that side out of the top 6. That is mental. And I'll tell you something. Bournemouth. I know everybody takes the mickey out of them, and I've seen one or two things of them about them over the years. 11,000, blah blah blah. But I'll tell you something. Give yourselves a round of applause, Bournemouth. Because when I think after 21 games, you're above that lot, I find that really, really hard to believe.
Yeah, one of the best things we've seen at Portman Road, absolutely. Colin, I'm going to bring Aidy in.
Fantastic. Anyway,
I love the rah-rah.
Keep the faith.
There you go. He's finishing it off.
Take care.
Great cheerleading from Colin there, Aidy. And I want to bring you in and ask you,
I drawn short straw or something. Coming in there last.
Well, no, Phil's going to close the show.
He's
volunteered to close it.
He's close. Oh, well done, Phil. Well done, Phil.
Aidy, disappointing evening. Let's not beat around the bush, obviously. Beating 6-0. I just said about the belief in the squad. What's your belief in terms of what Town can obviously do this year? Obviously, the season isn't going to be defined by today.
No.
But what did you make of it?
No, it's just, we've played Man City this afternoon. We've only got Yeah, we're beaten by a very, very good side. You know, it's obviously men of the boys this afternoon, but our only hope is obviously it's going to be between us and the Wolves actually for majority of the season. I think, you know, obviously Southampton and Leicester and that on there, but we have some plus points. We've still got to get a striker in, and and hopefully a striker can sort of help us towards the goal tally, because we've done ourselves no favours afternoon actually with our goal different things actually were going
well from not so much now.
Well, so the last few days and that we thought it'll be good, but yeah.
Gavin Law says we need a miracle, not a striker. You know, which is a fair point after a 6-0 defeat.
Yeah.
But what do you make of Ben Godfrey? Obviously, he gets his debut today, tasked with one of the hardest tasks of the season in terms of who he's marking and how he's going to contend with him.
Yeah.
What did you make of his performance today?
We did well, you know, under the circumstances. You know, I
thought he started really brightly.
Yeah,
started. Really good.
The whole team did. You know, over 25 minutes. You know, I thought, good grief, we've done well here, and then all of a sudden, you know, you get sort of them sort of let in. We did we passed the ball actually to them. We helped them. We don't. A team like them don't need any help actually from us, no. and it's the little sort of actually passes from there. But he had a good game, you know, under the circumstances. If you're going to ask me who the man of the match is,
go on.
I can't give you.
It wasn't what I was going to ask you.
I can't do. I know.
All right, last thought before I bring in Phil, because my hands are starting to shake.
Yeah, I think we're. I'm glad it's over this afternoon, and the full credit to the crowds this afternoon to keep sort of actually going there and sort of actually G them up at the end there and actually try to give them the boost they need. But yes, we lick our wounds. We go into Liverpool next week, and yes, and we see how we are. It's not all over. It's not all over, but we just bear on there and just do the best we can under the circumstances.
Andy, appreciate you, Phil. Let's bring you in. Don't forget Stowmarket Osteopaths. Give Freddie a call. 01449613633. Don't live life in pain.
Or watch them drink.
Give Freddie at Stowmarket Osteopaths a call. Phil talked about a striker there. Obviously, that's still on the transfer wish list. How about a central midfield player?
Well, we've been linked in the media with 36-year-old Nemanja Matic.
See, but I'm talking about a midfield player that's going to have energy to get from box to box, because it's not why we lost today. That's not what I'm saying. But there's too many times when we get a player in a threatening position and we've got very little numbers inside that box. We've got very little support from the midfield too, in terms of who's breaking the neck to get into the box. You can describe it as defensive, but equally you've got to transition from defence to attack very quickly. Do we need somebody like this afternoon? We finished the game with Morsi and Luongo. That is not a Premier League midfield two for me.
No, it isn't. I don't know what the answer is there. I don't know if a central midfield signing would be the answer, but for me, there's still the top priority for us is that we need to sign another goal scorer. Another number 9 is top of the shopping list still for me.
The kind of threat from that midfield to help with the front three and the strike force.
I think it's just the way that we play our football. I mean, when you look at the central midfield pairings of all the Premier League teams, for example, like today you had De Bruyne and Kovacic up against Morsi and Kayust. And it speaks for itself. You know, today was a dead rubber in terms of what the result was going to be, and it's going to be the same again next week. But the positive, the way that I look at it this afternoon, is that we're playing these big teams now in January. We won't be playing them in April. You know, at the business end of the season, in April, May, We've got them now early on in, second half of the season, early on, play them, get them out of the way, and then we can hopefully rediscover our goal-scoring touch. And like I said, we've got Southampton, after Liverpool, so in a couple of weeks' time, that for me is an absolute nailed-on relegation 6 points. We absolutely must make sure that we win that game against Southampton. For me,
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. Yeah, completely agree. And as does the chat, they're saying Southampton's a big game. Some are saying why missing the obvious.
Yeah.
It's the fact we haven't picked up enough points against sides we should have, which is another fair point.
I strongly agree with this. We have not been winning our home games. Look, I think we were clearly denied a result against Palace. Even more so against Bournemouth. And it's down to individual errors. We're not playing badly. We're mostly in game. Most of the games we played, we're competing well enough. We just need to start keeping, a couple more clean sheets. And I think after this month, we can go on a run. We can build on something. With the new players that we've got in, I'm sure that McKenna will find a winning solution, and we will hopefully have enough points to stay in this league again next season. But it's going to be tough.
Yeah, got a comment here from Neil Fay in the chat. Thanks for the comment. I thought I'd get your thoughts on it. He's put, waiting for Amari to justify the fee the club paid. What are your thoughts on that comment from Neil? I think it's a bit harsh, but what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's a bit harsh. Amari's definitely one of the better players. I felt the other night against Brighton on Thursday that he was probably a bit too greedy. And I think more often than not, that Amari, he wants to take control of the ball. He wants to show us what he can do. But, in most games that we played so far, I think that he needs to be a bit less greedy because, we all know that he's got a talent. We all know that he's a bit of a speed merchant. And, he just tries to not take on too much in games like he has been doing. And, I think McKenna will get another goal scorer in, and I think he will get our front line playing well enough to score the goals that we require to stay in this league for next season. As far as I'm concerned, tonight, like I said, it's a dead rubber. The quality that Man City have and the strength they've got is you cannot play Man City the way that Man City plays football because you're always going to come out second best. And tonight, I think this afternoon, this evening, was probably just one of those games. And may I just say that I think this afternoon was probably the first proper beating that we've had this season from one of the big boys, from one of the big Premier League clubs.
But that, a lot of that, is what I was saying earlier, Phil, is where my concern comes in, is that, look, Man City, world class, world above, elite players, elite manager, elite everything. But we didn't help ourselves. And at 2-0, I felt we looked dead on our feet. We looked bereft of confidence.
I actually felt that our back line, after the second went in, looked fairly pedestrian-like. And, I would say there wasn't enough off-the-ball movement for me tonight. As we showed in the early part of the season. And again, you can't give quality players like Phil Foden and De Bruyne the space and time on the ball because they will hurt you. And that's exactly what happened this afternoon.
And you can't keep showing a winger who wants to come inside. You could have shown the byline, and we didn't do that enough times.
No, we didn't. I just hope that McKenna changes something about the way the players are playing, whether it be formation-wise, tactics-wise, whether we need to work harder off the ball or to be more threatening from.
I think what we really honestly need, and it's an obvious answer, Phil, but we need a couple of decent results because you get a couple of decent results, you build up some momentum, you get some confidence back in your veins. Because right now, we're looking at 2-0 down, and McKenna, I think it's McKenna that said it, I can't remember, but I think it was, about the confidence that left the club, left the team after 1-0 at Brighton. That again happened today. And their little habits, Phil, that once they creep in, they can manifest.
They can manifest, but you know what? It was only a couple of weeks ago that really we were unlucky not to have beaten Fulham on their own turf. Yeah. And Fulham are another quality team. If you look at the teams that are doing well this season, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Fulham, Brighton, those are teams that, Ipswich, would like to emulate. They are obviously, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons down the road, they've had the transfer windows, they've had the money to, strengthen their squads. And, after a 22-year wait, for me, I'm one of those supporters who's reached a certain age that I've seen Ipswich win promotion 3 times now. I just don't want to see them being relegated a 3rd time.
Okay.
And after 22 years, I so badly want Ipswich to be the next Bournemouth, the next Fulham, the next Nottingham Forest, the next Brighton. That's what I want to see from, the way the club's being run, the investments had, and the management that it's now got. We've got the training ground to look forward to, which I think is going to begin construction anytime soon. And I just hope that we will be in this league next season, so we can develop, and invest and build further on the success we've had over the last couple of seasons. Because there's a whole host of clubs, lining up in the championship, lining up in the championship, waiting their turn, waiting to, itching to have, their bite at the apple. And I just really hope that Ipswich is another Premier League team next season.
Mm-hmm. Perfect way to end. It's a live mic, so stay right there. While I close, don't forget, we are live again tomorrow night, 8 p.m. for more in-depth reaction. There'll be a live link, live chat, all of that wonderful business. Join the conversation on our social media, Talking Town ITFC, across all social media platforms. But from tonight, from Adi to Colin to Matt to Phil to myself, wasn't the result we wanted. Same division, worlds apart. But we go again, right? Until tomorrow night. Take care. God bless. Look after each other. All the best. Bye-bye.